Wait, her whole thesis is ownership. Like, don't wait for permission, buy control.
Ownership is such a good word because it sounds badass and also, it's actionable.
But I hate the smugness people attach to just get rich. She's not doing that, right?
She's basically saying money is a tool, but the tool becomes control, and control becomes freedom.
And she keeps roasting the idea that institutions and media can be trusted, so people want real conversations.
The CNN view count example is wild, though, like, even mainstream media is losing the plot.
I mean, if you lose trust, you lose reach, and if you lose reach, you lose power. Same loop.
Okay, but the real spicy part is, your 20s suck. No one says that out loud.
She says focus on learning, not flexing money, and your boss becomes your entire schedule.
That resonates because early career is basically a paid apprenticeship with emotional tax.
Emotional tax is the best phrase. Like, you pay in stress and time, then later you cash it in.
She also implies the worst move is doing entrepreneurship too early before you even know the game.
I agree with the caution, but entrepreneurship early can also be the only path for some people.
True, but her point is earn and learn on someone else's dime first, then jump once you've built skill.
And she's big on front-loading pain. Like, the 20s are training, not the main event.
She compared it to deadlifting. Your body literally can't do 12-hour PR stints forever.
And mentally, too, she's saying work ethic naturally drops, so plan for seasons, not one grind forever.
Then she drops the economic interconnectedness thing. Basically, being around richer people makes you richer later.
I like the intuition, but contagious wealth sounds like half science, half vibe.
Contagious ideas are real, though, right? Like you start thinking in bigger horizons.
And she links it to investing in proximity, like finance is full of money-obsessed people, so you absorb patterns.
Also, she tells that story about an ambassador role being purchasable. And I'm just sitting there like, what?
You can literally buy an ambassadorship? That breaks the elite meritocracy narrative instantly.
That was her paradigm shift. Money equals power, and power changes access. Access changes outcomes.
She also gets into the emotional relationship with money, especially guilt and I don't deserve it.
The picture money with your body and freeze exercise, yeah, that's creepy accurate.
If your body is bracing, your brain probably behaves like money is danger, not opportunity.
That's why she keeps saying, if you think money is evil, you'll repel it, like you repel partners when you hate men.
The analogy is a little loaded, but the core claim, belief drives behavior, still tracks.
And then she's like, act rich without being flashy, work hard, surround yourself differently, negotiate harder.
Act rich is dangerous if people interpret it as spending, but she clarifies she means mindset and actions.
I actually loved her idea that your salary should be maxed first, then invest in side deals, before you gamble on startups.
She says zero startup investing until you're a millionaire. That's bold.
But she's arguing from base rates. Startups are like a 90% failure machine, so protect downside while you learn investing.
Protect downside is basically her love language, because she's also anti-app idea for $25K to your mate.
Yeah, she's calling out the trust me investment culture because your mate's pitch isn't diligence.
She prefers cash-flowing businesses like laundromats, car washes, window cleaning, boring but teachable.
And the concept of gateway drug businesses is interesting. Start with something semi-autonomous so you don't drown.
It also lowers the mental barrier. You can learn operations without needing to be a tech genius on day one.
Okay, but the most chaotic practical part is how to get in front of a rich person.
She's basically saying don't spam Bill Gates. Start with concentric circles, the richest person you can actually access.
Which is so true. Everyone wants the top of the pyramid, but the easiest win is the guy who owns the sprinkler company.
And then her expertise spikes you line, like DMs that say, I'll clean your floor, don't impress.
That's not a pitch, that's a plea. The value has to be specific and competence-based.
She also pushes this 10x rule, don't expect anything until you've given 10 times the value.
And follow-through is the cheat code. She's basically saying most people don't even implement, so they don't earn goodwill.
The story of being one-sentence advice drip-fed for years, and then the rich guy feels invested. That's so satisfying.
That's the repetition compounds trust idea, and it's way more realistic than viral fame.
Then she ties it to speed, 24-hour rule, reality distortion fields, move faster than everyone else is thinking.
Dreams and money die in the next week is a brutal but true line.
Okay, I'll push back slightly. Speed without iteration is just confidence cosplay.
Agreed. Iterate fast, decide fast, and measure what actually moves the needle.
So overall, she's preaching. Learn in the 20s, build access, protect downside, and convert skill into ownership.
And do it with enough belief to create a reality distortion field for yourself, because nobody's coming to save you.
All right, we've got to wrap, otherwise we'll keep turning every sentence into a business plan.
Deal. Next episode, we'll go even deeper on the ownership transition and the buying businesses with sweat equity playbook.
And we'll break down what marquee member actually means in practice, not just as a vibe.
See you in episode 2, where we probably get too excited about side deals again.
Okay, but the reality distortion field thing, how much is just charisma?
It's not just charisma, it's refusing to accept the default timeline.
Like the Steve Jobs example, we'll ship it in 24 hours actually forces output.
Yeah, and everyone else gets dragged into that urgency like, fine, let's go.
But the danger is you create speed without truth, then you burn credibility.
That's the confidence cosplay point you made earlier. People can fake momentum.
Exactly. Iteration is what makes speed honest, otherwise it's just vibes.
I've seen teams move fast and still go nowhere, just faster wrong turns.
It's like driving with your eyes closed, but saying, we're progressing.
So how do we translate this into a real plan for normal people?
First, you pick one outcome, then you pick the smallest experiment that proves you're right.
And you don't wait for perfect clarity, because clarity is downstream of action.
Still, the just ask the rich person advice feels naive to some listeners.
It's naive if you think you can DM Bill Gates like, hey bro, invest in me.
Right, but she kept saying concentric circles, expertise, and follow-through.
Concentric circles is the practical hack. Stop aiming for fame, aim for proximity to money.
And she also said the message has to signal real value, not I'll clean your floors.
I'll clean the floors is like showing up to a startup pitch with a mop as your moat.
But honestly, that's how most people audition for rejection. No expertise, no specificity.
So what's the bar for a young person with zero brand?
The bar is, can you create a packet of usefulness, insights, analysis, mock-ups, numbers?
Or even one sharp question that reveals you actually studied them.
And then the 10x rule, never expect unless you've already given disproportionate value.
Otherwise, you're just doing social begging with better lighting.
I liked the part about follow-up being rare. People don't close the loop.
Yeah, thank you for the one-liner, plus I implemented it, is basically unheard of.
It's such a weird superpower. Most people only extract, nobody reports back.
And reporting back changes the relationship from transactional to trust-based.
Trust-based is nice, but let's push. What about the downside?
That's why she kept talking about protecting downside and cash flow businesses first.
She basically said, until you're rich, avoid startup hope bets.
Yeah, because 90% failure is not a personality trait, it's statistics.
So for someone with, say, a few thousand, what does owning even look like?
It can be insider ownership. Earn equity through performance or invest via employer channels.
But not everyone's employer offers that, and not everyone can become a top performer instantly.
True. Then the fallback is side business ownership, cash flow service, or semi-autonomous assets.
Gateway drug businesses made me laugh because it's accurate. Laundromats, car washes.
What I liked is the ordering. Window cleaning, trade services, then laundromats, then bigger stuff.
Start where you can test quickly. Pre-sell, verify demand, don't overbuild.
That window cleaning example, pre-selling to hit a revenue target before spending big.
But okay, pre-selling only works if you can market and execute, right?
Exactly, which circles back to unfair advantage, skills, network, and excitement.
And the Venn diagram framing, so people stop copying industries blindly.
Because copy-pasting a business model without matching your strengths is how you lose money politely.
Politely lose money is my favorite phrase for this whole space.
You try hard, you follow gurus, and you still don't have a moat, just effort.
I also want to question the ownership solves everything stance a bit.
Yeah, because ownership without smart risk is just leveraged stress.
Still, it's a compelling goal. Ownership creates leverage, not just wage dependence.
Wages are great until they disappear, which is why backup plans matter.
Backup plans like Airbnbs, real estate, senior care, she listed a bunch.
But the principle is consistent. Diversify income streams while you build skills.
Senior care centers sound great, but they're regulated as hell, no?
Of course, demographics are nice, but compliance is the real boss level.
So the demographics tailwind is only half the story. You still need execution capability.
Exactly, and that's why she kept pushing apprenticeship on someone else's dime.
The leapfrog idea: don't stay in a job forever, but don't start a business too early either.
Monkey bar progression. Earn experience, earn learning velocity, then jump.
People either stay too long or jump too early. Both are just impatience in different costumes.
And her key filter was leave when you can't learn or earn more exponentially.
That's actually a measurable criterion. Does the trajectory still compound?
One more push. How do you decide if a rich person will say yes?
You don't manipulate them with empty flattery. You reduce their uncertainty with expertise and follow-through.
So you don't ask for dinner, you earn interest like a high-integrity vendor.
And you remember, they're busy, so give them a reason to care in 1 minute.
Also, don't confuse they read it with they owe you.
Yep, no entitlement, just persistence with value, then you move on quickly.
Okay, so if someone only remembers one thing, speed plus iteration plus downside protection.
And convert your salary into ownership through equity, cash flow deals, or sweat equity.
Zero into freedom isn't magic, it's boring compounding with a little nerve.
Freedom is earned, not granted, and you better learn to ask the right way.
All right, we're wrapping, because if we keep going, we'll start underwriting everyone's laundromat.
Next episode, we'll get way more practical on the ownership transition and the marquee member checklist.
I like the ownership not hype angle, but people will weaponize it.
Totally. That's why the prove value then iterate fast part matters.
When she says go ask the rich powerful person, how do you not sound needy?
You don't ask for shots, you bring expertise and follow through.
The one-sentence ask thing is actually smart because it lowers friction.
But it also sets a trap. If you ask for free help, you lose credibility.
Nobody wants another floor cleaner. They want an upgrade to their world.
Exactly. Forward this packet is fine if the packet shows insight.
Still, most people aren't Bill Gates level competent in one message.
True, so the play is concentric circles. Start near you, then level up.
And rich doesn't mean famous. It means liquid and making money consistently.
Yeah, influencer inboxes are chaos, but the sprinkler guy, quietly printing cash.
Bro, the sprinkler guy is the cheat code nobody talks about.
It's the water is shallow strategy. Shallow gets you in, deep gets you out.
Let's zoom. Her 10x rule feels good, but can it become performative?
It can, if people start gifting just to buy access.
Like, here's a book. Now please hire me, by the way.
The rule only works if your gift is tied to real execution and follow-through.
The story where she asked one question, then implemented, then pinged again, that's the whole game.
Most people can't even do the follow-up because they're allergic to discomfort.
Yeah, I'll circle back next week is basically a death certificate.
I love the 24-hour rule idea. It's not genius, it's operational speed.
But speed without downside protection can get you wrecked, right?
Yep, speed plus downside protection is the combo, otherwise you're just gambling.
That's why she hates 0 to 1 startup investing pre-million, like 90% failure energy.
I agree with the spirit. Until you have a buffer, capital preservation beats maybe unicorn.
Kevin has an app idea, and suddenly your life savings becomes beta testing.
Exactly. Seed investing is not your personality test, it's your risk profile.
Her gateway businesses take a similar stance. Own something boring that cash flows.
Service businesses too, like window cleaning, low capital, testable, skills transfer.
The pre-sell 384-day example, finally math that doesn't rely on vibes.
And it matches the bigger message. Your 20s are for skill accumulation, not ego flexing.
Your 20s suck is so blunt it's refreshing because everyone sells the highlight reel.
But it's also motivational in an unsexy way. Learn on someone else's dime first.
Yet she also says don't stay at one job forever unless it keeps increasing income and learning.
Right. She's basically saying progress has to be built into the contract or leave.
That's the monkey bar metaphor. Leapfrog, earn and learn to the next rung.
And for ownership transition, her ask your boss for equity move is underrated.
Most people never ask because they're scared the answer is no.
But asking is asymmetric. If you're top performer, the no still gives data.
The marquee member threshold. How do you avoid it becoming vague favoritism?
You set objective expectations, responsibility, goals, and whether the business actually depends on you.
Like, would we lose steam without you? If yes, that's partner territory.
And she frames it like Warren Buffett: fewer people, long-term, trust-based equity.
Okay, but what about someone with only a few thousand? Is ownership even realistic?
It is if you use time and expertise, not just cash, sweat equity, and side deals.
Seller financing is the bridge concept. No mortgage needed from your side, trust on future profits.
But trust trades still require credibility, and you can't fake operational competence.
So the path is, prove you can execute, then negotiate harder terms.
Exactly. You start with concentric circles, then become someone people believe with their money.
Honestly, reality distortion field made me laugh because it's like, believe you can move fast.
But it's not delusion, it's refusal to accept unnecessary timelines and complexity.
I also liked the faster than everyone else mentor line, 3 mistakes and a faster way.
That's the ultimate cheat code: speed plus learning loop, not speed plus ego.
If people actually internalized that, they'd stop thinking and start shipping small experiments.
Yep, and the experiments can be ownership adjacent. Apprentice, partner, invest in cash flow, negotiate seller deals.
Last thing, her message sounds empowering, but some listeners will still freeze.
Then the first action is tiny. Identify one unfair advantage component and do one outreach with follow-up.
Unfair advantage diagram, skill, network, excitement, then go be weirdly consistent.
Weirdly consistent is basically the whole thesis. Do not be normal, be repetitive.
All right, I'm convinced. Zero to freedom is ownership math plus speed plus downside protection.
And generosity is leverage. Provide value first, then you get to ask.
Cool. We'll end here before we accidentally draft someone's business plan live.
If we keep going, we'll start underwriting everyone's laundromat anyway.
Too late, my brain already has a laundromat model spreadsheet.
All right, take the next step fast, and we'll see you in episode 2.
Next episode, we go way more practical on the ownership transition and how to spot marquee member signals.
Okay, I love that ownership isn't hype. It's math plus behavior.
Exactly. And the behavior part is the part people pretend they'll do later.
But can we admit the tone is kind of aggressive sometimes?
Yeah, it's like stop being lazy energy, but then there's real tactics behind it.
The tactic that hit me: front load pain in your 20s, then buy optionality.
That's the learn, not earn thing. Salary as a feeder, not the finish line.
And the ownership ladder: salary, invest side deals, then maybe equity through performance.
People hear side deals and instantly think they're Warren Buffett.
Yeah, they hear invest and start pitching their friend's crypto app.
I actually think the zero startup investing until a millionaire is a relief.
Relief because it admits failure rates exist, not because it's romantic.
Relief because it's downside protection dressed as discipline.
And the cash flow first idea for small investors is practical, not motivational poster stuff.
Also, she keeps dragging you back to where is the profit coming from?
Which is hilarious because half the internet only asks, what's the story?
Story is cheap, cash flow is expensive.
Okay, but here's where I push back a little. Ownership isn't always available through work, right?
True, if your company never offers equity, you're stuck negotiating for leverage elsewhere.
So what's the move when your boss won't share ownership and you only have a couple thousand?
You shift from buy ownership to earn skills plus access, then buy later using sweat equity.
Sweat equity is such a good phrase because it reframes effort as capital.
And it shows up in that 3 ways to buy a business framing: cash, expertise, or time.
But expertise still costs time to build, so the question becomes, which expertise is valuable fast?
That's where the unfair advantage Venn diagram thing works: skills, network, and what excites you.
Network plus excitement is such a low-tech equation, but people overcomplicate it.
They want a spreadsheet for emotions, basically.
They do. Like, my passion is 13% underwater, should I still do it?
The bigger controversy is her confidence that anybody can do it if they aren't lazy.
Yeah, because not lazy doesn't solve access gaps. Some people have zero runway.
Exactly. And the advice assumes you can do the uncomfortable extra hours without breaking financially.
Still, she did something smart. She didn't just say work hard, she gave decision rules.
Like the only stay at jobs if you can learn or earn more exponentially.
That's the leapfrog strategy. Monkey bars, not career prison for 20 years.
No one escapes career prison by journaling.
Escape happens by switching constraints, money, attention, or people.
And she says if you're with rich people, the constraint usually isn't ideas, it's people.
That's such a spicy take because everyone thinks their bottleneck is an idea.
But if you have views, you have ideas. You just need operators with follow-through.
Speaking of follow-through, her interview advice was the most real-world part.
Stop talking about what you know is wrong. Start asking why they made that decision.
I liked it, but I worry it can be gamed. People will act humble by default.
Humility theater, yes.
So what's the non-theatrical version? What signals expertise without arrogance?
You bring specific observations and genuine curiosity, then you connect it to outcomes.
And you avoid the red flags, blaming past bosses, victim mentality, and work-life balance talk.
Yeah, because if the business is hardcore and you lead with that, you're basically declining the reality.
She's like, this job is miserable. Good, now join it for the right reason.
That honesty is actually a filter, which is what owners want.
Okay, I'm circling back to the boldest idea. If you want to get in front of rich people, start with concentric circles.
Yes, stop emailing celebrities. Find the money-adjacent guy you can physically touch.
But that also requires social courage and some willingness to not look impressive.
It requires you to be willing to be ignored, like 99% of the time.
And then the 10x rule makes it less transactional. Give an outsized amount first.
Here's a one-sentence insight is the cheat code nobody uses.
Then you follow up only to report impact, not to ask for more.
That's how you build a reality distortion field. Small actions that compound trust.
Wait, reality distortion field is such a funny phrase for good networking.
But it's real. Speed changes what's possible in others' minds.
I love the 24-hour rule because it's basically killing procrastination with process.
The danger is people confuse speed with impulsiveness, though.
So the right version is, decide fast, then iterate. No perfection worship.
Exactly. Make the decision in 30 seconds, then course correct with data.
And if the data is garbage, that's still useful because now you know.
Failure becomes curriculum instead of shame.
So if we had to compress the entire thing, ownership math, generosity leverage, and speed as consistency.
Plus downside protection. Cash flow first and build your headlights by being around faster people.
Which is why this whole episode feels less like a get-rich-quick scheme.
And more like a stop lying to yourself about timelines scheme.
All right, we're definitely about to accidentally recommend 3 boring businesses to everyone listening.
Laundromat, car wash, and whatever senior care center feels ethical today.
Perfect. Next time we'll zoom in on the ownership transition signals and how to spot marquee member energy.
Also, how to negotiate for equity without sounding like you're asking for a favor.
See you in episode 2. Bring your questions and bring your follow-through.
Bye for now, and don't forget, be fast, be generous, and protect your downside.
Teaser for episode 2. We're getting very practical about the first ownership deal you can realistically structure.
The whole ownership is the only freedom line is so punchy, though.
Because it forces you to stop romanticizing careers and start thinking downside first.
Career romance dies the second your boss changes their mood.
And she's basically like, cool, now what's your backup plan?
Backup plan. Pray AI doesn't touch my job description.
That's not a plan, that's a vibe with consequences.
But I do want to push back. Ownership with zero capital sounds cute.
Except she said 3 ways to buy a business: cash, expertise, or sweat equity.
Sweat equity is the one people underestimate because they want shortcuts.
Right, and shortcuts is how you end up giving away equity for free.
You mean like the floor cleaner pitches you get in DMs?
I will do the dishes for exposure energy.
So what spikes you? What's the filter in that initial message?
Expertise plus specificity, like you analyzed 542 videos, not I love your content.
And follow through, because everyone says they'll do it, and then disappears.
The 10x rule is wild, though. Don't ask unless you've already given tenfold.
That rule filters out 99% of desperate people instantly.
And it matches how powerful people actually decide, is this useful to me immediately?
But the leap from be useful to get rich is still a leap.
Sure, but the framework is get close to wealth, learn, then convert learning into ownership.
Concentric circles is basically social arbitrage.
And she's anti-email Elon bro because you don't need famous, you need reachable.
Reachable rich people. Your neighbor with the sprinkler company.
The hidden boss battle no one's playing.
This is why her advice is annoying but effective. Start with the water that's shallow enough.
The less competition, lower stakes, higher chance of being taken seriously formula.
Okay, but let's talk about the ownership transition part. Employee to owner with a few thousand.
Ask your boss directly if top performers can earn equity or invest alongside you.
People hate asking because they think it sounds greedy.
But she frames it as, I will earn it, I'm not requesting charity.
Still, most companies are allergic to employee equity.
Unless you become marquee member energy, indispensable, not just average.
Marquee member means you're quietly replacing 3 people's workload.
And she even said the partner idea is celebration, not punishment.
Because partnership sounds like taxes and suffering, if they do it wrong.
Exactly. Structure matters, otherwise ownership becomes accounting pain.
That's why her side deal advice is cleaner. Save from salary. Invest after you can survive mistakes.
But I liked the correction she made. No startup investing until you're a millionaire.
Because early stage is like 90% failure. People burn capital like it's entertainment.
Instead, do cash flow deals or wait for deal flow where you're not guessing from vibes.
My mate Kevin has an app idea, is the universal warning sign.
Kevin is always raising at the speed of friendship.
So for the listener with tens of thousands, what businesses were you most convinced by?
Senior care centers were interesting. Demographics, grants, licensing, and you can start small.
Plus, the service intensity means it's not just buy asset, pray rent works.
Though operationally, it's heavy. Regulated environments can humble you fast.
For me, the window cleaning, or service-based but capital-light angle is more scalable for newbies.
Because it lets you test yourself with pre-selling, measure demand before you buy anything big.
That 3 at 84 a day to make 100K math is brutal but clarifying.
And then she had the gateway drug businesses, laundromats, car washes, semi-autonomous.
I like those because they're ownership-ish without needing to be a genius operator on day one.
You still need a brain, but it's a different kind of brain than building a rocket app.
Okay, here's the part I'm chewing on. The unfair advantage diagram. Skill set, network, excitement.
It's basically identity meets leverage. Stop chasing an industry and start chasing your intersection.
Find what you're good at, who you know, and what you'd happily do even if nobody clapped.
But what if someone has no excitement, like they're burnt out already?
Then they don't need a business idea, they need a reset and a smaller starting bet.
Yep, and that ties into her philosophy. Front-load pain, learn fast, then reap later.
The your 20s suck advice is basically stop lying about timelines.
If you want freedom, you earn it while your friends are buying temporary dopamine.
I still worry people take it as permission to grind endlessly.
No, the emphasis was front-load pain into learning, not endless suffering with zero output.
Which connects to the 24-hour rule and reality distortion field stuff. Speed as an advantage.
Be fast, not wrong, is the annoying balance they hint at.
But iterative speed beats slow perfection, unless you're allergic to shipping.
She said confusion between thinking and work is a killer. People overthink instead of acting.
Thinking about thinking, the oldest wealth strategy in history.
Make the decision in 30 seconds, then correct, because course correction is cheaper than delay.
Dreams and money die when you say next week.
Exactly. Ownership comes from building momentum, then locking it into assets or equity.
So the real takeaway is, don't chase hype, chase ownership mechanics.
And don't ask for permission. Ask for opportunity with follow-through.
All right, that's our messy brain dump on turning zero into freedom.
If you're listening and feeling, I can't good, now we'll translate this into your first realistic ownership deal.
Episode 2 is coming with a practical template for structuring that first deal without pretending you're rich.
Bye for now, move fast, stay generous, and protect your downside.
Okay, but that ask for opportunity thing, people hear it and instantly panic.
Yeah, because it sounds like motivational posters until you ask, opportunity from whom?
Exactly. Like, do I DM Bill Gates with "Hi, I'm hungry" energy?
No, please don't do that. You'll get deleted and your self-esteem will file for bankruptcy.
Dear billionaire, I have a PowerPoint and dreams. That's not a plan, that's performance art.
The plan is concentric circles. Start with the richest person you can actually reach.
Concentric circles is so underrated because it forces realism, not fantasies.
And it's also a volume game with lower stakes, so you can iterate without embarrassment.
But how do you make that first interaction not feel like begging?
You lead with expertise or value, not need, and you ask one sharp question.
One question is key because asking for a favor is different from requesting information.
And then you show follow-through, which is basically the rarest currency on Earth.
Follow-through is rarest currency is hilarious because it's also just basic behavior.
People are so shocked you did what you said you'd do that they call it talent.
Okay, say I follow through and the rich person replies, then what?
Then you still don't get handed the keys. You keep stacking small proof points.
Proof points like, I implemented your idea and here's the result, right?
Yes, and you send it without guilt-tripping them into more labor.
This is where I push back slightly. Not everyone can get rich mentorship easily.
True, but the mechanics still work. Because the rich person can be richer than you, not Jeff Bezos rich.
So it's relative, like, move to the neighborhood with more speed and better ideas.
Exactly, and there's that whole idea of economic interconnectedness. Exposure changes outcomes.
Exposure changes outcomes sounds like social science cosplay, but I buy it.
It's not cosplay. Your brain starts forecasting different possibilities when you're around people executing.
Which brings us to the owning laundromats vibe, because people cringe at that.
Yeah, people want the glamorous story, but ownership is often boring and still prints cash.
Also, boring businesses can be riskier than hype guys admit.
Sure, which is why the first goal is downside protection, not billionaire cosplay.
So like cash flow first, then complexity later.
Exactly. Cash flow deals before startups, especially until you have $1 million.
That zero startup investing until you're rich line is spicy though.
Spicy, but grounded. Startups are mostly a 90% failure rate party.
A party nobody wants to be invited to, yet everyone buys tickets.
And even if a startup works, you still need deal flow and judgment. Most people have neither.
Their deal flow is usually a friend named Kevin with an app and a deadline from 2019.
Kevin always wants $25K for just the prototype. Meanwhile, you're underwriting a dream.
The alternative is, earn as much as possible from salary while you learn business patterns.
Yes, and also ask for ownership while you're employed. Equity isn't only for founders.
But employees struggle to ask that question without sounding delusional.
You frame it as, if I'm top performance, can I earn equity or invest alongside you?
Like internal marquee member status, prove yourself, then negotiate.
And there's also the cleaner version. Earn capital by doing more, not by fantasizing about sudden wealth.
I still don't love the tone of don't lose money over time, because people hear it as play defense forever.
Not forever. Just don't blow up while you're still learning to score.
Okay, so what does the first ownership move look like for someone with like 2K?
It can be sweat equity. Partner with someone who has the cash, you bring time and competence.
So ownership can be built through expertise plus time, not just cash.
Yes, expertise and sweat equity are legitimate purchase methods in small business.
That 3 ways to buy a business framing makes it feel less like a rich people's secret.
Cash, expertise, or time, aka money, skill, or your willingness to grind with a purpose.
But grinding needs a direction. Otherwise, it's just tiredness with ambition.
That's why the unfair advantage Venn diagram matters. Skill, network, and what excites you.
Wait, excitement is treated like fuel, not an industry choice?
Exactly. You don't need an exciting industry. You need an exciting identity where you keep going.
So if you're a sales gremlin, you should probably stop pretending you're a quiet investor.
Yeah, align your personality with your strategy, or you'll quit at the first friction.
And then you move fast, because that whole reality distortion field and 24-hour rule thing.
Speed helps, but I'm slightly worried people will confuse fast with reckless.
Right, because iterate sounds noble until you iterate into debt.
So the rule is speed with learning loops and downside awareness. Move, test, adjust.
Like instead of I'll ask next week, you ask tomorrow and accept the answer either way.
Exactly. Deadlines are currency, and urgency beats perfectionism most days.
One last thing. How do we keep people from turning this into hustle brain propaganda?
We anchor it in ownership mechanics: cash flow, equity, seller financing, and protecting downside.
Seller financing is underrated. It's like the universe saying, don't wait for perfect cash.
It's bartering with spreadsheets, trust trade instead of tech worship.
Okay, I like that. Trust trade with spreadsheets. That's going on my notes.
Perfect. Now go find a reachable circle and ask one question that proves you're serious.
And then follow through like your life depends on it, because for real, it does.
All right, Malik, let's wrap it up. Ownership isn't hype, it's execution.
Bye for now. Move fast, stay generous, and protect your downside.
Episode 2 is coming with a practical template for structuring your first ownership deal without pretending you're rich.